All right, let's talk about a minimalist cleanout. But I don't just mean your closet. No, we're going bigger. We're talking about clearing out your entire life, your space, your schedule, even your mind. Also, you can finally make room for what actually matters. So let me ask you something. Does your life ever feel, well, just cluttered, overwhelming? Like there's this constant noise. You know, that feeling of being pulled in a million different directions with the buzz of notifications, endless obligations, and just so much stuff? Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely in the right place. And here's the kind of crazy part, the paradox we're going to unpack today. The answer isn't to get more organized, more apps, more storage bins, more life hacks. Nope, the real solution is subtraction. It's about needing less. Okay, so first things first, let's get on the same page about what minimalism actually is. Because it's really not about those stark white rooms or, only owning 3 t-shirts. That's not the point. At its heart, the idea is so simple, but man, is it powerful. Minimalism is not about depriving yourself of things you love. It's about intention. Think of it like a tool you can use to get rid of all the excess stuff in your life so you can finally focus on what's genuinely important. It's about creating space, both physically and mentally, for a little more peace and a lot more purpose. And this right here is the magic question. This is the one you need to write down. Does this add value to my life? And I mean, this applies to everything, every single object in your home, every commitment in your calendar, every subscription you pay for. If the answer is no, well, it might be time to let it go. Seriously, this question is going to be your North Star for this entire process. All right, so with that question in our back pocket, let's start with the easy stuff. Well, easier stuff. The tangible things, the clutter we can actually see and touch in our physical and our digital worlds. And this is so important because our external world is directly connected to our internal one. I mean, think about it. That pile of junk mail on the counter, it's not just paper. It's a constant, nagging signal to your brain that says unfinished business. And your phone, buzzing away with notifications, that's just creating a ton of mental noise and overload. Both of these things, physical and digital clutter, are just absolutely draining your energy. So how do we start without getting completely overwhelmed? The key is to start ridiculously small. I'm serious. Don't even think about cleaning out the whole house in one weekend. Just pick one drawer. That's it. That one small win will give you the momentum you need to tackle a shelf next, and then maybe a whole corner. Okay, so you've opened that drawer. Now what? Here are the questions to ask yourself. Have I used this in the last year? That one's pretty practical, right? But this next one, does this represent who I am now? Whew, that's deep. Because you're not supposed to be a museum curator for your past self. You get to keep what serves the person you are today. Okay, let's take that same exact logic and apply it to our digital lives. Because let's be honest, your phone is probably more cluttered than your closet. So here's your action plan. Just unsubscribing from junk emails can feel like a huge weight has been lifted. And that last one, muting or unfollowing accounts that just stress you out, that is such a powerful way to set some digital boundaries. A total game changer. All right, so we started cleaning up the outside. Now it's time to move inward. And this might be the hardest part, but it is absolutely the most important. We're talking about reclaiming your internal world, your time, your emotions, and yeah, even your relationships. This is something we all need to hear, like on repeat. Being busy is not the same as being productive, and burnout is not a badge of honor. Our culture loves to glorify busyness, right? We pack our calendars till they're bursting. But listen, a packed schedule and a totally exhausted soul, that's not success. That's just burnout. I want you to do something. Look at your calendar for the next week. Be honest. What on there just makes your stomach sink a little? The commitments you only made out of guilt, or those obligations you secretly kinda hate? These things are the energy vampires of your schedule. And minimalism is all about protecting your time like it's the most sacred thing you have. Because, well, it is. And this. Please let this one really sink in. In our world that is just obsessed with productivity, choosing to rest can honestly feel like an act of rebellion. But it is not lazy. It's the essential fuel for everything else you want to do. It's a non-negotiable part of a good life. Okay, deep breath for this next one. We're about to talk about emotional clutter. And this question right here, this is where we start. It's about being really gentle, but also really honest with yourself and looking at the emotional baggage you've been carrying, maybe for years. So what is emotional clutter? It's all that invisible weight we haul around with us. Old grudges, unspoken resentment, guilt, shame, all of it. This stuff takes up a ton of mental real estate. And that last point is so key. You have permission to let go of the person you used to be. You can honor your past without letting it trap you.
Now for relationships. This is a super simple gut check you can use. This isn't about, cutting everybody out of your life. It's just about noticing your own energy. When you leave an interaction with someone, do you feel lighter or do you feel heavier? Just pay attention to that feeling. It's probably the most honest guide you'll ever have.
So, we've cleared out some space, right? Externally and internally. So, now what? Well, now comes the fun part. Now we get to be intentional. This is all about consciously designing a life that actually reflects what you value, instead of just defaulting to whatever is easy or what everyone else expects. I think so many of us live in this imaginary place called someday. Someday I'll wear the nice dress. Someday I'll use the good china. Someday I'll finally rest. Minimalism just looks at that and says, how about now? Your real life isn't some event you're waiting for. It is happening right here in this moment. And this is crucial to remember. Minimalism isn't a one-and-done project. It's an ongoing practice. And the way you make it sustainable is by creating systems. The one-in, one-out rule for clothes is a classic for a reason. Doing a quick digital cleanup every week keeps that noise from creeping back in. See, these aren't chores. They're systems you build for a calmer, easier life. I love this metaphor. It's so powerful. Is your life just a storage unit for stuff and obligations? Or is it a story that you're actively writing? This whole process is about realizing you're the author, not just the person filing everything away. And please, let's be super clear about this. This is not another thing you have to be perfect at. It's not a competition to see who can own the fewest things. No way. The entire point of all of this is the feeling it gives you. The only goal is to feel lighter, freer, and just more at ease in your own skin. That's the trade-off, really. It's the beautiful promise of minimalism. You consciously decide to let go of the noise, the pressure, and the chaos. And in that space you create, that's where you find what you were probably looking for all along. More peace, more presence, and a real sense of purpose. So let's end on this thought. Letting go isn't about loss. It's about choice. You're choosing something better. You're choosing freedom. So my question for you is, what's the first thing? It can be a sweater, an app on your phone, a yes you wish was a no. What is the first thing you're going to let go of to choose that freedom?